is there something that specifically someone new in the field should know or should be reading or should be doing to become a legitimate professional in the field?
I mean, I think some of the one of the biggest things I see with a lot of these young people, because I do a lot of interviewing to hire people, and I've done a lot here, seeing people come through the door, and I'm a little different because, resume is a resume, certification, and when they come through here, I sit them down, and we spend probably, depending on what their background is, we may spend a week or 2 or 3, and I'll just drill them. We'll do an oral exam every day. Well, I'll throw 10 questions at them, and I might throw 10 same questions, the same 10, next week, just to see what they know, what's inside their brain. Because what I find is, again, lots of people in this field, they get A, I tell them A, which is a given, and they can get C, which is the answer, but they can't get B. And then when you give them a curveball to B and it's something different, forget it. It's thrown out the door. It's just a lot of it's regurgitated. Anyone getting in this field, go to school. Get an education, get your master's, get the education, get the physiology, understand how the body works, understand scientific principles. Then when you start reading these journals and reading these articles, you can take what you believe is right and what's wrong, and you can look it up. And then, there are good sites, there are bad sites. The internet's opened up a lot, but get into this whole, understanding of really muscle function, anatomy, and physiology. Because when you really understand that stuff, you'll be able to sit there and make the connections, cross the T's, dot the I's, and you can go in different directions and still know, wait a minute, that's not that's what I was taught. That's what's inside the brain. That's what physiology tells us, instead of just regurgitating that someone else said. Do you really know anything? And these are the questions I had asked myself probably about 7, 8 years ago. Is, do I really know anything? Because I'm bombarded every day by the latest, greatest program, the latest fad, the this or that. And I finally just said, I got to go find out for myself, And luckily, I had the opportunity to meet, great people. I mean, and some of the best in this field. And, they said, yeah, you do know something. And I'm lucky that, like I said, now I'm talking with you. But it's like, God, you're bombarded with nonsense every single day. And the nice thing is, though, is when you figure out that you think you know something and you get to people that I've had, the ability to talk to, the Dan Rileys and the, and the Mark Asanoviches and Bobby Roguski and all these guys that are the tops in the field, and Tyler. The nice thing is if you know something, you're just like you're in the circle. They're your best friends now, because you're on the same wavelength. Guys like that it's not just about, we're coaches or strength. They live it, they eat it, they breathe it, and that's their life. And so it's inside of you, and it's part of you, and so it's nice to be able to be around those people. But I wouldn't have been able to get there if I didn't go to school and if I didn't understand this stuff. And read. I can't tell you how many articles. I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks filled with fitness articles that I would just pull and read and try to, and highlight them and so on and so on. And I used to, even out of Muscle and Fitness, but, I mean, you start to develop this is what's there and what's being said and what's not,
No, I really appreciate you taking the time to have a little talk here on the podcast and giving some people some insights into what you're doing and giving some, hopefully some thought, creative thought or original thought that someone's actually put some time and effort into what they're doing with somebody, not just, taking somebody out there and taking them through a workout. A training and working out are two completely different things, and if people are coming to you for training, they should be getting a higher quality of service. And I really do believe that it starts with that reading side of things and education and getting out there and talking to people and listening to things. I've really been very, very happy with the feedback that and the interviews that we're having on the podcast here, and having some of these really awesome names be involved with the podcast is great. And now having you on here has been awesome. I think the content you shared is great. I've really enjoyed our conversations that we've had, like I said, in that past year and a half, 2 years now, and I look forward to keeping in touch. If someone had a question about anything that was going on here in the podcast, how would they go about getting a hold of you and asking you some questions?
They can reach me. They can email me at my name, Sunir Jossan, at yahoo.com. They could call me 703-255-7186. That's my home phone number. I also have a website, thepersonaledge.net. It's just got information about my training business at home. But you can, all that information that I just told you there is on there. So, and I'm an open door. No questions are bad questions. I have a lot of people that just have pulled up my website and sent me questions over. Just give us a call. I mean, that it's a community. And education is free, and I really believe that. And I appreciate you having me on here today. And I mean, I've just enjoyed tremendously meeting you and getting to know you. And, like I said, it's a small little community, and it's nice to be part of something that, at least I really believe this, that understand training. And we got to get the message to people that there's a better way, and it's not, I always leave you with this. When you train, and I really believe this, it's not about training. It's not just like you're saying, you take a person through. I can blitz anybody in a workout, but I got to understand over time, how am I going to get results from this individual? How are we going to get to where we need to get to? And at the same time, when you're going through these workouts, keep that goal in mind and getting through it without injuring a person. So, I mean, being part of you and everything else has just been it's been a dream for me. So anybody, any questions, anytime, please give me a call, drop me a line, and I'll do my best to answer it or get you in the right direction.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we get some feedback from some questions from the people who are listening, whether it's through Facebook or sending both you and I emails and communicating that way. And hopefully we can get you back on here, my man, and give us some more insights on some of the questions that people are having, and hopefully help somebody and hopefully move this field a little further forward. So, again, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day. I appreciate you sharing some insights. I look forward to keeping in touch, and I hope all's well, my man.
Thanks, Rob. You take care.
Have a great day.
You too.